very difficult. So people had to be in those camps for 3 to 5 years. They had no place to go. But those camps were the camps that were liberated by the Allies, by the Americans, by the British, Russians, Australians. But the threat of death did not exist. So I felt I don't belong to them either. Two things that happened. How many of you know the word Bashir? Bashir.
I'm married, my bishop.
Nobody knows. Say it after me. Bashir.
Bashir.
It's a word in Yiddish, and it means meant to be. And take a look what happened. This was in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C., the Holocaust Museum closed its doors to the general public for 2 days. For 16 years in a row, it had opened it up only to the Holocaust survivors, their children, their liberators. I never went. However, in November 1st and November 2nd of 2003, I decided to go. There were over 8,000 people. And at the table that I was sitting, I met a man born in the same city, been in the same camp, the same years. He was taken when he was 8 months old. I was taken when I was a year and a half. That is living history. By talking to him, for the first time at age 63, I felt that I belonged to both generations. That prompted me to stop ignoring being a Holocaust survivor and to do something about it. That's what it's called upstanders. So, in 2007, I joined the second largest Holocaust museum in Manhattan, okay, the Museum of Jewish Heritage, a living memorial to the Holocaust. And in 2008, I got my first assignment to speak to 6th graders. Now keep in mind something. You will speak, hopefully all of you, publicly. Your first presentation will not be the best, will not be the most complete. I did not have a story. I did not know that I can tell a story. I had no idea what impact I will have on young people. And guess what? Also, again, Bashir, meant to be, they sent me thank you letters, each one better than the other. But one 6th grader, so as much as you learned from me, I learned from the questions that you were asking me. One 6th grader changed my life forever. And she wrote, yes, your story was overwhelming, and I promise I'll pass your story to my children. Because of her, I have decided to dedicate the rest of my life to reach as many people, young people as I can, nationally and internationally. You wanted to ask a question?
Yeah, so when you were did you wanna visit any other place now?
If I did what?
Was there any place that didn't have Holocaust in it?
In Romania? Well, that's a very interesting question. Everybody heard her question? Okay. So what happened is the leader of the Romanian government in those days was a very big anti-Semite. But, okay, he deported the people that were outside of Romania. But Bukovina, where I was born, Basarabia, okay, very few from Romania proper, especially later on. He did not deport people from Romania when he realized that Germany will lose the war. Okay, so he wanted to have a better name, but obviously he was a very, very bad person, very big anti-Semite. Okay, so let's stop here. And let me give you the opportunity to ask some questions, and then after that, depending how much time I have, okay, you will tell me, I will go into the history of the Holocaust and genocide.
All right, guys, let's take a moment. Who would like to ask Sami a question about his experience so far? Yeah, what's up?
What's your name?
Shana.
Shoshana.
Very good.
Okay, I just want to, you're so adorable.
Come here.
Oh.
By the way, all of you will have the opportunity to give me a hug. I'm a hugger. You can ignore me, okay? You want to take a selfie if the teachers allows you.
If I do a really good lesson, do I get hugs also?
Yes.
Yeah? No.
I have to think about it.
Possibly. Are you famous?
Huh? Yeah, but we'll do it after it's over and everything.
Okay, guys, so if there's no questions, I'm going to ask Sami to tell us a little bit about, to describe for us how the Holocaust came to be. It didn't happen in one day, it didn't happen in 1 week, right? How did normal people allow something so abnormal to happen? Sami, can you share with us some of your thoughts about that?
First of all, when did the Holocaust happen?
Oh, we have, yeah,
Yes.
1933 to 1945.
In
okay.
1945.
Yeah.
That's when the Holocaust happened.
No,
Was it 1933 to 1945?
Yeah,
Well,
but
you're absolutely in the right
specifically,
ballpark, but maybe.
specifically, it was a specific date when it happened. No, okay, so let me tell you. Okay, so I want you to understand, and I'm going to talk about two things: Holocaust and genocide. Both started the same way, except that the Holocaust went one step further. Okay, it's not just the murder of a group; it's the annihilation of a group of people. So everything starts with words. Words lead to action, good and bad. Okay? And what happened is, after World War I, okay, Germany lost the war, and there was a Treaty of Versailles. In the Treaty of Versailles, there were 3 punishments against the German people. Number 1, they had to return all the occupied land. They had to, okay, demilitarize, which means they could not have an army, okay? And at the same time, they had to pay reparation. They had to pay money to the countries that they fought against. Now, okay, and the teacher may also answer. If I may put you on the spot. But first I'm going to ask the students. In 1917, $1 American was worth 4 German money, German marks. At the height of inflation, how much was $1 worth?
$100.
Okay, anybody else?
I showed them pictures of children playing with blocks of Deutschmark. I think it's almost 10 million Deutschmark to the dollar.
Very good answer, incorrect. 1 trillion.
Yeah.
1 trillion is so close to 10
Like,
The same.
The interesting part is you could have a wheelbarrow full of paper money, and you could not buy a newspaper. Nobody wanted it.
So if you needed a wheelbarrow full of money just to buy firewood, to burn the firewood in your house, to heat the house, what would you just simply do?
Okay? So
Darius?
Just go get the wood yourself rather than buying it?
Well, if you lived in the city, I don't think you have that opportunity. So what would you do?
Leave.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Trade.
Okay, it's a really good idea, but more simply than that, you would simply burn the money to stay warm.
Exactly. So the interesting part is you understand how desperate the German people were. And that's why I don't want you to make any comparisons to the past, because the conditions then they were different than today. So in that, those conditions allowed a person like Hitler, who said, German people, I know why you're suffering. The German army did not lose the war. We were betrayed. We were stabbed in the back by the communists, they were feared, and by the Jews. The Jews were hated. So now, when the Nazis came to power, they did not want to kill the Jews. Did you know that? All they wanted to do is they wanted to have a Germany free of Jewish people. But the Jews fought for Germany. That was the most enlightened country in the world. They were assimilated. They considered themselves Germans. Why would they want to leave? They lived there for centuries. Why would they leave? Does that do with the subject? Does it have? Yeah, okay, go ahead.
And the Germans, like a lot of people, Germans and the Israeli people with Jewish was fighting.
Say it again.
The German people and the Israeli people was fighting a lot.
The Jewish people fought along with the Germans in World War I. The Jewish people, yes. Because by then in World War I, there were no Nazis yet. Okay? All right. So anyway, so what they did, okay, the Germans are very law-abiding citizens. Whatever the law says, they will comply. And what happened, they came out with the Nuremberg laws in 1935. They took away their citizenship. Doctors could not practice medicine. Teachers could not teach. Children could not go to school, could not play sports. So they made it so difficult that the number of Jews left. Well, where did they go? They went to other European countries. At the same time, it started with propaganda. And I wanted to understand what propaganda means. Joseph Goebbels, the minister of propaganda under Hitler, said a lie told long enough becomes true. And all of a sudden, in the newspaper, every single day, they portrayed the Jews as a caricature, big noses and everything else, ugly, you know. At the same time, they told the people, you know, that the Jews are a danger to the German people. Do you know how they did it? They portrayed the Jews as rats. Because rats, okay, are not a lot of, there are not many of them, but they live like the Jews all over the world. And what do rats do? What do rats do? They spread disease. And that's, they convince the people that the Jews are not only a danger to the Aryan race, but to the world, okay? And that's how they act, and that's why the world also participate with the Nazis in annihilating the Jewish people.
So, guys, have anybody ever heard of some people pointing at other people and saying they spread diseases, they give us sicknesses, they're just like, you know, rats or mice that they bring diseases to our country? Yeah. You've heard words like this before, right?
Absolutely. And that's why, okay, I want you to be aware, that's why I want you to learn. When somebody tells a lie or misinformation, for you to stand up. Okay, take a look at next one. When they, okay, do you know when the Germans, the ghettos, were separated, they could not mingle? In the Nuremberg laws, they told the German people, do not associate yourself with the Jewish people. These were neighbors, they were their friends. And the Germans felt patriotic, okay, because it was the law not to talk to the Jews. So what I want to tell you, they became, okay, violent only on November 9, November 10 of 1938. That is known today, the 2 days, as Crystal Night. Okay. And the other thing I want to tell you, the official Holocaust started on January 20, 1942, in a city which is part of Berlin, when the 15 high-ranking Nazi criminals decided the final solution to the Jewish question. They came up with a list of all of the European countries, 11 million people. In this, they wanted to remember two things. Okay? Once they were going to murder all of the European Jews, they were going to open up a museum. And they were going to call it the Museum of the Extinct Jewish Race. And the other thing that I wanted to tell you, not every victim was a Jew, but every Jew was a victim. I'm going to right now to open up for questions, and you can ask me questions on any subject that you want. Yes.
Well, I heard that Hitler, he started this whole thing because he wanted to be a painter, but a Jewish person turned him down. Is it true that that's what really happened?
There are many, many things that are true, that happen and everything else, yes. Some people remember vividly what they went through. Some people remember what other people told them. Okay? So, yes.
My English teacher is
I'm sorry.
My English teacher is Armenian,
Say that again?
and she said mentioned that Hitler was inspired by the Armenian genocide.
Correct. Correct. And do you know, there was a person, a Polish person, that, okay, that came up with the word
Is
genocide.
Leora here?
Yeah.
You're going home.
Okay? Do you know the name of that person, Polish person, that was the first one that came up with the word genocide, what happened in Armenia? Okay, his name was Raphael Lemke. So since, okay, your heritage is Armenian, okay, remember Raphael Lemke, L-E-M-K. Yes, any questions? Yes.
Did Hitler die because he ate a
Hitler was a coward, and he committed suicide. He would not want to face, okay, the war with what he did.
Are there still Nazis?
Oh, very good question. Say it again. Repeat it, sir.
Are there still Nazis in the
Yes.
A lot of people, very good. A lot of people are using the word Nazi. Remember one thing, there are no Nazis anywhere in the world. There are people of today that believe in the Nazi ideology. You have to call it neo-Nazi. When you use the word Nazi, you're talking about the past. When you're using neo-Nazi, you're talking about the present, the people of today. Yes?
I think Neo is
Neo means new.
yeah.
So those are the new Nazis. But they believe in what the actual Nazis in World War II, what they believed in. So that's what they call neo-Nazi. Very good. Excellent. Anybody else has a question? Yes.
Are there people that think that
I'm sorry, say it again.
Are there people that think that
They think what?
Hitler is a good person?
A little bit louder.
Are there people who think Hitler is a good person?
Yes. Do you know what they are called? They are called, the question was if there are people that believe that Hitler was, the Nazis were good people, some good people. And I'm saying, yes, and they are called Holocaust deniers. And right now, I just want to tell you something. I was a witness in the UN when the Chinese ambassador to the UN and the Israeli ambassador to the UN, they came out with a legislation that was accepted, okay, only the second one, and this is against the Holocaust deniers. And it so happened that I was there, I was invited, and I was a witness to a historic moment, and that resolution passed on January 20 at the 80th anniversary of what I told you, that is the conference of the official Holocaust.